Welcome to Lashback, everyone. I'm Natalyan.
And I'm Phoebe. And this week we're going to talk about how to get motivated. So,
Yeah.
what have we got on the online search, Nat?
Yeah, so what does it mean to get motivated? To get and stay motivated, set specific, achievable goals, break them into smaller steps. I like that. Create a supportive environment and reward yourself for progress. Also, focus on healthy habits, practice self compassion, and find activities that bring you joy.
So,
I
you've got
like that.
a six-step model for
Yeah,
getting
six-step
motivated.
model.
So,
So, yeah.
what is a clear and achievable goal?
Exactly. And it's
You're the
different
project
for different
manager.
people.
Tell
I'm
us.
the project manager. So for me, it's about setting, what do you want to get? What's the outcome? And what are the steps to achieving that outcome? Making it realistic, but also making it, agile, tangible, flexible, so that you're not constantly failing, because that can then put you off. That's what I feel anyway, in a work life, in a personal life. So setting achievable goals, which is key,
Yeah.
achievable.
Because in terms of neurobiology, that's dopamine, isn't it? So, if you set something that's too difficult and you're not getting the neurotransmitter that you need. So if you can tick something off a list, it's a little bit of dopamine.
I
But
love
there's
it.
also, I find in my line of work, the difference between an outcome and an objective. Like we're going to do these things, we're going to do this task. And a lot of people say, oh, my goal is that I'm going to do this thing. And I'm like, why? Because it's the why that really motivates, which I know I've skipped forward to step five.
It's good to know your why at the beginning, though. So I could be inclined to,
Yeah.
say that you need that first, right? Because if you don't know your why, then why are you doing it?
What impact are you trying to get?
Yeah, and making it
Yeah.
achievable, because I think you've said this to me before. I'm pretty sure you said to me before when I was, down at myself about not achieving things. And I think we talked through my list, and you're like, there's just no way in the world you could have possibly achieved what you had on that list today.
Yeah.
So there was nowhere for me to go other than disappointment.
Yeah. Really, really key, isn't it? And I think it's sort of a life's work really to know what is achievable for you. Because what might be achievable for Joe next door might not be the same for you. So if you're like, well, if so and so can do all of these things in a day, why can't I? But we're all different, different energies, different other commitments, different things, different distractions, different neurochemistry. I mean, I'm neurospicy, ADHD,
Yeah,
dyslexia, and
yeah.
the things I can get done in a day on a good day are way more than Joe next door. But on a bad day, it's about 10% of what Joe can do next door. And it's about knowing myself, which also leads on to point two and three, I think, around a supportive environment internally in my brain, as well as, a clutter-free environment, the right people in my life, the people that help me, but also the healthy habits thing. I know if I've eaten a lot of sugar, my productivity just goes, which then
Yeah.
also really impacts how I motivate myself the next day. Because yesterday was a bit rubbish, so today's.
Yeah, and I find myself, which is good and bad, thinking, okay, I'm going to start this again tomorrow. But then I have found myself pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. So then you have to kind of reevaluate what's stopping you there. And I think supportive environment and healthy habits is key, because if you get up in the morning and you do, like I've done this new thing for quite a while, probably a year now, where I dip my face in a bowl of iced water the second I get up, and it does something for me. I know it's hard, but it's wonderful. Try it. I urge you, Phoebe, and
No.
everyone listening to try it. And going to the gym, if I can find that rhythm, always helps me, because I think when I'm at the gym, and I then maybe take some time to read affirmations or write lists up. But the supportive environment is key as well.
There's a lot of research around our neurology and movement. So walking stimulates certain nerves and cells and helps you think. I used to have a member of staff actually who I got very frustrated with, because we'd have one-to-one meetings and he'd take loads of actions down and he'd not get them done. Now he had dyspraxia. And I read an article that made me think, oh, hang on a minute, maybe I'm not working with him in the best way. And I said, forget it, John. Let's forget the writing it down. Let's go for a walk. And we did walking one-to-ones, and he never missed a task after that.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
we'd walk around the block and we'd talk about the things, and he'd take the actions, and everything would get done in the way that we agreed. But when we were sat across the table from each other, something weird happened when we walked from the meeting room back to desks. It was something weird.
Yeah, it just was on the paper and not in the head or
Yeah,
heart.
he hadn't walked it into his body, and that kind of taught me something as well. I remember when I was at school, actually, I used to do walks like, I'm really struggling with my homework. I'm going to go for a walk, and then I'll come back, and it would help me think. I often write lyrics when I'm walking as well. I used to put halfway through a song, can't finish it off, walk around the block with listening to it, and it all comes back. So I guess to bring it back to your list here, it's that healthy habits is also about knowing yourself.
Completely, and knowing the mind and body's connected. And just going back to the supportive environment, I think we need to really kind of have a quick hoo-ha about that, because I think that, negativity can be really, profound in a negative way about
Damaging.
If you're damaging. Yeah, exactly. Where, you're starting these new ventures, or you might be achieving something and you want to tell someone about it, which is, you've got to tell the right people. I think we've talked about this in another episode about, ambition and things you want to do. And there's a lot of people out there in the universe that would be like, well,
Oh,
really?
well, that's a difficult industry.
Yeah, like, I don't think you're going to be able to achieve that. And, no one should ever tell you that. And I watched a really profound movie the other day that I've watched before called The Pursuit to Happiness, which has
I love that movie.
And it's based on a true story. And he said to his son in that movie, when he was playing basketball, that you're not going to be a basketball player. You're small. You're just not. So just forget that. And then his little boy, which is his son in real life, was really, really put down by that and sad. And he stopped himself and he said, actually, don't ever let anyone tell you can't do anything, including me. I love that.
Yeah. And that there's something about, again, energy. I set myself a rule many years ago, which I sometimes break. But I really endeavour to talk about things I've done, not things I'm about to do.
Same.
Because what I've learned is me talking about to do it is the energy I had for doing it.
That's a good way of
And
looking
I
at it.
talked it all out, and now I've got no energy left for it.
That's such a good way.
Somebody else has given me a thought, and they've put some feedback in, and it's confused my initial gut thing. I want to do this thing. Well, take action and then tell people that you've done it.
Yeah, and I think that I practice the same thing, and I actually was talking about that with my friend from the Long Highway, Louis, yesterday, about some things we're going to do with the band this year. And I said, but we're not going to talk about it with everybody yet. We're just going to start taking action and then talk at the right point. And I think that what you just said is a really good bit of advice about the energy you use. But my reasoning was different. But I'm going to take on board what you just said. But my reasoning was that negative put down where I'm excited, and then suddenly you're not excited anymore because someone's
somebody's concerned, and then you're because the other side of this is, and this I used to be very guilty of this, and I know a lot of people. And often in coaching conversations I have with people, it is about this, and why coaching and therapy is a really good safe space, because somebody might live in the world with the perspective that they have to ask for permission for everything. And there's that great quote, isn't there? Better to seek forgiveness than ask permission. So somebody's like, I'm going to do this thing. Is that okay? And actually, that whole mindset of, oh, I hope I don't upset people, or is this going to be okay, is, an internalized sort of negativity.
And what makes them qualified to say that you're going to be successful in real estate investment? Or
well, it's not necessarily about. It's not really about. It's not so much about that as somebody not feeling like they can make their own choice about their own life.
Well, exactly, but I think that goes hand in hand in the sense that if I'm asking some random person or saying, oh, what do you do? And they're like, what do you do? And I say, well, I'm about to do this. And like, oh yeah, I did that. It didn't really work for me. So I'd be really
Yeah.
careful about that. That's, and then me allowing that from a random person who hasn't actually been successful with it, but there are people that have been successful in it.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to the person who hasn't been.
Yeah, totally. You
It's
want
a
to,
lesson learned there.
because actually, when it comes to feedback as well, it's the same with songwriting. Like, hey, do you like my new song? And if I'm not yet finished it, then, they might stop me from finishing it because I don't get the feedback I want. When really what I wasn't wanting feedback, I was just wanting validation. So,
Yeah.
there is something about if you do need advice about something, oh, I'm about to spend a load of money, like we were talking the other week, I'm going to spend a load of money on this online course. Can I ask your opinion about? It's very different. I've got this vague idea. What do you think?
Yeah, no, completely. And I think moving on to point or step, I don't think it's a step, but a point to getting motivated, which I find really powerful, is reward yourself and celebrate progress, no matter
Dopamine.
how small. Dopamine, exactly. No matter how small, medium, or large that may be, and the relevance of those successes are different to different people.
Yeah.
It might be a big achievement to get out of bed in the morning for some people.
Do you know, for me,
Celebrate it.
sometimes washing up is a massive achievement. I just can
Yeah.
ignore it, and then it becomes out of hand. So I will write on my to-do list, wash up, and it's always quick. It always takes less time than I
Then
think
you
it's gonna. And then I
procrastinate.
tick that list
Yeah,
because
it's
I've done
procrastination.
something. There's a great coach called Jim Quick, famous guy, KWIK. He's not. He's not paying us, but I really rate him. He had a fall when he was a kid. He had brain difficulties. He had to relearn a load of stuff, and he's now like the memory man. And he talks about get up in the morning and make your bed. Always make your
Yeah,
bed first thing, because that
I've read
is the
about him.
first dopamine.
I do that straight away.
Make the bed.
Straight away.
Wash your face. Do the things, because these are all, I've achieved something. I've achieved something. I've
Dip
achieved
your
something.
face in a bowl of ice water.
Never going to do that.
But can you do it if I ask you to do it once for the purposes of this episode? I need your feedback.
Yeah, indeed.
So,
But
listeners
there is
out there, she will.
even like the small things that we get done serve our neurobiology, our neurochemistry in terms of dopamine. And dopamine's a key neurotransmitter. So if you're doing a task, and then you get a reward for that, it strengthens those pathways in your brain. So those parts of your brain get more, which is where addiction's really tricky, because I've somebody's had a cigarette, they've gotten a nicotine high, that's dopamine. That's that habit being reinforced. So you can get into oh, I never get anything done today, but it's okay, I went and did these things instead. That's dopamine happening, and then the not getting things done becomes part of the habit that you get used to, neurologically wise. So it's really, I like the step 6 here about practicing self-compassion, because there is everything. If we're not compassionate towards ourselves, we don't learn. We just judge. And if we're not learning, then we're not changing. And we're not going to get ourselves out of ruts or into new areas. I've got brand new, great idea. It's going to take me loads of work to do it.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this briefly in our grief episode a few weeks ago or something,
Yeah.
and self-compassion is key. You can, and I'll take that along many different lines. Getting motivated is forgiving yourself for not doing something,
Not doing
for
it yet.
maybe not doing it yet,
Not being like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. So self-compassion is absolutely key. We are human beings. We make mistakes, and they may not even be mistakes, but they may be mistakes to you. And don't compare yourself. We're all very guilty of that.
And it's okay to be fearful about something, about, fear and procrastination, and depression and procrastination are big things. But I think it's important to be like, it's okay to be, I'm going to do this. I've got this massive idea. I'm going to go do this thing. It's a bit scary. And don't they say, any kind of motivational speaker will say, do the thing that scares you. If
Well, you
it
should do
doesn't
one
scare
a
you,
day. You should do one a
if it
day.
yeah, if it doesn't scare you, then you're not changing, you're not moving into something new. And of course, I'm presupposing here that we want to change, and some people are completely contented and happy with their lot. But there is absolutely something about it's okay to feel that fear and then do it anyway.
Yeah, and I can't for the life of me remember who said this. It was on some online thing I watched. But there was a guy that used to, as he was coming out of his apartment in New York, every morning he would, as he was going down, walking out of his door and going in the lift, elevator, whatever you want to call it, he used to say, "Do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now, do it now." I don't know how powerful that is. I'm going to try it, but I kind of get it though. I do get it, and I wrote that on our notes for this episode of do it now, do it now. But I
Yeah.
also think I want to be kind of partial in this episode as well. I know we're wrapping up shortly, but fear. I also a lot of these we did an episode about online business opportunities being the new trend on social media, and one of the things I found with that is that there's a bit of manipulation with the whole fear thing, like remove your fear and jump in. So there has to be caution in the wind there as well. But I
Yeah,
do
for
think
sure.
that do something that scares you every day. I've got a colleague that does this once a month improvisation storytelling. Scares the life out of him and he does it. So it doesn't have to, every day is probably a bit of a stretch, but I think it's a good tip. And that could be making your bed,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That I was going to say something that's left me. I had a really good point. It's gone. Do
Yeah.
it now. Oh, yes. Do it now, do it now, do it now. As an ADHD person, that means I've got about 16 tasks halfway through. But that's the way I roll.
That's why we love you, babe. That's why we love you. But I think this has been a good episode. Again, same with all our episodes. We're going to be coming back to topics, whatever takes our fancy, whatever we think's inviting and interesting to talk about, and helpful and
And
funny.
indeed,
Yeah.
and indeed, if there's anything you would like us to think about,
Yes.
research, and talk about, then you know what to do. Let us
Yeah.
know what you'd like us to. I want to swear, YouTube doesn't like it. Shoot the about. Do
Yeah.
let us know if you've got any topics you think that we might vibe off. Then
Absolutely.
let us know.
And
And on
obviously,
that note, like, subscribe, share, get on the socials. It really does help the channel
yeah.
out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Fantastic.
guys.
See you next week, guys. Bye
Bye.
bye.